Your cat's trust is not guaranteed. It was never guaranteed. It was offered to you, carefully, cautiously, after a process of observation that happened on their terms, in their time, and it can be withdrawn, not with drama, not with a fight, silently, gradually, through a series of moments that most owners never even register as significant. These are the 5 things that trigger that withdrawal, and the reason most owners don't know them is because every single one of them feels like completely normal human behaviour, the kind of thing anyone would do. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. By Rule 3, you will understand something about your cat that changes everything. You come home and find the evidence, the knocked-over plant, the chewed corner of something valuable, the mess that was made hours ago while you were out, and you find your cat, and you let them know, in whatever way you let them know, that something is wrong. Your voice changes. Your posture changes. You point. You use their name in a tone they have never heard you use for anything good. You want them to understand. And here is the single most important thing to know about how a cat's brain processes this moment. They cannot connect your reaction to anything that happened before you walked through that door. The window for that connection, the brief period during which cause and consequence can be linked in a feline brain, closes within seconds. Not minutes, not hours, seconds. Research in animal cognition confirms that cats lack the neurological architecture to form causal associations between past actions and delayed consequences. Unlike dogs, who evolved under conditions where human-led feedback shaped behaviour over thousands of years, cats domesticated themselves and never developed this cognitive pathway. What your cat experiences when you react to something they did hours ago is not understanding. It is pure confusion followed by fear. Your cat does not think, "I did something wrong earlier and now I'm being punished." They think, "The person I trust most has just become unpredictably frightening. Something in my safe world is suddenly dangerous." That fear does not evaporate when your mood returns to normal. It accumulates. It becomes associated with you. And every time it happens, the trust that took months to build erodes by a fraction, invisibly, silently, permanently. Address behaviour only in the exact moment it occurs, a calm, firm no and a redirection. Then return immediately to warmth. Outside of that window, what happened is over. Let it be over. Your relationship with your cat matters more than any plant, but delayed punishment is something most owners already suspect is wrong. Rule 2 is the one that will genuinely shock you, because it is something millions of cat owners do every single day while believing it is the smart, responsible, scientific approach to cat training. The spray bottle. For decades, it has been the go-to tool. Affordable, harmless, surely. It doesn't hurt them. It just startles them, and the message is clear. Do the behaviour, get the water. Simple cause and effect. Except, the message it actually sends is not the message you think. For the spray bottle to work as intended, your cat would need to understand that the water is connected to the specific action they just performed. But as we just established, they cannot make that connection unless the consequence is immediate. And even then, the research on aversive training in cats is deeply unsettling. What your cat actually learns from the spray bottle is one of 2 things. First, that the room is dangerous. The kitchen counter becomes a place where water appears from nowhere. The sofa becomes a threat zone. The places they explore and rest and feel at home begin to carry the shadow of unpredictable discomfort. Or second, and this is the outcome most owners never anticipate, they learn that you are dangerous because you are almost always present when the bottle appears, and your cat, who cannot see the abstract logic of cause and effect correction, sees only this: I was near the person I love, and something frightening happened. The American Association of Feline Practitioners explicitly advises against the use of spray bottles and other aversive tools in cat behaviour management. Research on aversive training methods in cats consistently shows increased stress markers, decreased social approach toward owners, and heightened environmental anxiety, with no lasting behavioural improvement in the trained behaviour. The spray bottle doesn't teach your cat what not to do. It teaches them that you are a source of fear, and a being who fears you, even a little, even around one specific context, cannot give you their full trust. The bond becomes conditional, guarded, and you will feel it. in the slight flinch when you reach for them unexpectedly, in the longer time it takes them to settle near you, in the subtle withdrawal that you won't understand until now. Remove the opportunity instead of punishing the behaviour. Cats are problem solvers who respond to environmental design, not correction. Double-sided tape on surfaces. Provide better options nearby. Address the underlying need the behaviour is meeting. The behaviour stops without costing you a single fraction of their trust. If you've ever used a spray bottle thinking it was the responsible approach, you're not alone, and you weren't wrong to try. Now you know better. Hit like and subscribe. This is exactly what our YouTube channel is for. Your cat is on your lap. They start to shift, to move, to prepare to leave, and without fully thinking about it, you put your hand on their back and keep them there, just for a little longer, just because you're not ready for them to go, and your cat goes still. They tolerate it. They wait, and the moment you release them, they leave. And sometimes they don't come back for the rest of the evening. You probably put that down to cats being cats. Unpredictable, independent, moody. Here is what was actually happening in every one of those moments. When a cat cannot leave, they are not choosing to stay. They are trapped, and being trapped, even briefly, even lovingly, even by the person they love most, activates the deepest survival wiring they possess. Their body floods with cortisol. Their heart rate rises. Every muscle prepares for escape. And when the hand lifts and they finally go, they are not leaving because they are done with you. They are leaving because their nervous system just spent 30 seconds in threat mode, and it needs to recover. The distance they put between you after a forced hold is not coldness. It is decompression. And every time it happens, the subconscious association between closeness to you and that cortisol spike grows slightly stronger. The trust, which is really just the feeling of safety in your presence, becomes slightly less complete. Researchers studying feline stress responses found that even brief periods of physical restraint by owners, regardless of the owner's emotional intention, produced measurable cortisol elevation in bonded cats. Critically, cats showed reduced voluntary approach toward their owners in the hour following restraint events, suggesting the stress response was specifically linked to the owner's presence and not the environment. The cat who has been held against their will repeatedly learns, slowly and completely, that closeness to you comes with a cost. That settling near you means risking being unable to leave. And so they begin, not dramatically, not consciously, to settle a little further away, to leave a little earlier, to approach a little less freely. The bond doesn't break, it just never reaches the depth it was capable of. Let them go, every single time, without following, without coaxing them back, and watch, over the following weeks, as a cat who has learned that departure is always honoured begins to return more freely, stay longer voluntarily, and settle closer without being held at all. The bond you were forcing is the same bond that grows naturally when you stop reaching for it. This one goes wider than you might expect, because it's not just about yelling at your cat directly. It is about what happens in their nervous system every time raised voices enter their shared space, regardless of who those voices are directed at. Cats are exquisitely sensitive to sound, not just volume, but emotional tone. The specific frequency patterns that human voices produce under stress, anger, or fear carry information that a cat's auditory system reads automatically. They cannot not process it. And what that processing produces, every single time, is an activation of their threat detection system. A raised voice in the home is not simply loud. To your cat, it is a signal that their environment, their safe territory, the one place they are designed to feel completely protected, has become unsafe. Something is wrong. Something is threatening. The colony is disturbed. Research on feline sensitivity to human vocal tone found that cats showed measurably elevated stress responses, not only to voices directed at them, but to angry or distressed human vocal patterns anywhere in their environment. Cats in households with frequent raised voices showed higher baseline cortisol, more pronounced startle responses, and reduced sleep quality, the last of which affects immune function, mood regulation, and social behaviour in documented ways. A cat who lives with frequent shouting, even shouting that has nothing to do with them, lives in a state of chronic, low-level alert. Their world never fully feels safe. Their nervous system never fully settles, and a nervous system that never fully settles cannot produce the deep, trusting, voluntary connection you are trying to build. They may love you, but they cannot fully relax into that love. There is always a part of them listening, bracing, waiting for the next disruption. High impact. This rule affects not just your cat's trust in you, but their baseline stress level in your home. Every action in this video matters. This one matters most for their overall well-being. Lower your voice as a default when your cat is present. Not artificially, just consciously. When conflict or stress arises in the home, give your cat a safe room where they can go. Somewhere quiet, elevated, with familiar scent. And after difficult moments, seek your cat out gently, not to apologize, but to let your presence and your calm voice remind them that the disruption is over and the safe world has returned. This is the one that surprises people most, because it seems so small, so ordinary. You grab your keys, you walk out the door, you get on with your day. Your cat doesn't even seem to notice half the time. So what does it matter? Here is what matters. Your cat has built an internal model of your behaviour. They know your patterns, your sounds, your rhythms, the jingle of keys, the particular way you move when you're about to leave, the specific quality of the light at the times you usually go. They have been studying you, patiently, continuously, completely, since the day you became their person. And in that model, departure is one of the most significant events in their day, not because they are helpless without you, but because absence, for a bonded cat, requires a recalibration of their entire territorial understanding. You, the anchor point of their world, are about to not be there, and how you leave shapes how they experience that absence. Research on separation anxiety in domestic cats found a significant difference in post-departure stress indicators between cats whose owners performed consistent departure rituals and cats whose owners left without predictable routine. Cats with consistent goodbye rituals showed lower cortisol during owner absence, spent more time resting rather than displaying anxious behaviours, and demonstrated calmer, more secure reunion responses when owners returned. When you vanish without ritual, your cat's nervous system receives no signal that this is a normal, expected, temporary absence. Every unannounced departure is processed at some level as a sudden disappearance. Over time, this creates a subtle, pervasive background anxiety that flavours the entire relationship. They are never quite fully settled because they have learned that at any moment, without warning, you might simply be gone. Create a goodbye ritual. Small, consistent, unchanging. It can be 30 seconds. Find your cat, lower yourself to their level. Say the same thing in the same tone every single time. I'll be back. See you later. Anything, as long as it is the same words in the same voice every day. Your cat will learn this sequence the way they learn everything, by repetition and pattern. And when they hear it, something extraordinary happens. Their nervous system receives a signal it has been trained to recognize. This departure is expected. This absence is temporary. The anchor is coming back. And they settle. And they wait. And when you come home, they are at the door. Trust between a cat and a human is one of the rarest things in the world. It is not given automatically. It is not owed to you because you feed them and shelter them and love them. It is earned. In small moments, day after day, in the voice kept calm when you were frustrated, in the hand that lifted when they needed to leave, in the goodbye that was always there, every single time. Your cat is not a creature that forgives. They are a creature that forgets, slowly, gently, when the evidence begins to accumulate that their world is safe, that you are safe, that the anchor holds. You have 5 rules now, and are forever to earn them.